It's the 3rd of December, 2025. Coming up on today's Global Intelligence Agency Operations Report. As of the 21st of November, we have entered the winter solstice time of year. Even though they have been trying for several years, over a decade in fact, they still repeat the same process every year, hoping for a win. For the last several days, it's been all about the current wars. It's us versus them as they struggle to find a power source for their AI systems. And distractions and fear loom large in mainstream media. Don't fall for it and don't give away your power.
At New Earth Innovations, we search the planet for nature's most powerful healers. This took us all the way to the coast of New Zealand. Our Omega 369 Plus is made from the Perna green lip mussel, rich in omegas, chondroitin sulfate, and rare glycosaminoglycans. The Perna is one of nature's powerhouses. Support joint flexibility, easier breathing, better digestion, and a calmer, less inflamed body naturally. Grown in clean New Zealand waters, backed by nature, sustainably sourced, trusted by thousands. Subscribe today and start feeling the difference.
Well, it's the 3rd of December, just a few more days now to the end of the year. Oh, I'm glad 2025 is almost over. I don't know about you. Okay, well, I just wanted to say I hope that all Americans had a nice Thanksgiving and spent some time with family. It was a little bit of a rocky one for most of us, at least for me it was. It was a lot of work and a little bit of turkey. But other than that, it's been, typical work days for me. If we're not working on the skincare line and getting all the stock for the supplements and everything going, because we're making a lot of changes there. We're trying to make shipping easier to all parts of the world and cheaper. So that's involved us getting some new labels in, and sometimes that takes a little bit of time. So we should be fully back stocked up and everything by this weekend. So if your orders were delayed, I apologize, but they will be going out soon. Okay, few things I wanted to talk about because this is kind of important right now. There's a lot of pushback coming from the deep state, and as there is a lot of people out there who are not believing what they're selling anymore. And that's kind of giving all of us a hard time in a way. And there's been a little bit of a push and a pull and a fight. And I know I put out a little bit of a message on Friday just because the hours have been a little bit crazy these days. As an example, today I've been working since about 1 o'clock this morning. 12:52 to be exact, and it's now 5:30, so it's probably going to be kind of a short report, simply just because, I've been working a lot of hours today. So, but I know that for a lot of you, I've been getting a lot of reports of, crazy things in the media and some uncomfortable energies and a lot of chaos out there, especially on Friday. So I'm going to kind of clear some of those things up for you, let you know what's going on. And hopefully this will give you a little bit of a better understanding of the times that we're in actually at the moment. So let's talk about some regular news, I guess, at the moment. And there's a lot in the mainstream media. It's up and down, and countries are worried. There are people in countries, I should say, that are worried about cryptocurrency being installed. They're really doing a lot of campaigns around the world. Most of these people are operatives and American operatives pushing stablecoin, Bitcoin, and all of these types of things, and trying to rally the average everyday citizens of countries into believing that this is a really good idea. It's going to put them on the financial world stage, especially smaller countries. This has been going on, for about a year or so now. And, there is no backbone to support a global cryptocurrency. There's not enough fiber. There's not enough, internet services, and at least not ones they can control. And a lot of it has to do with digital ID systems and, that type of thing. And, control mechanisms. If you don't do what they want, they cut you off from, cards and your identification, and you become persona non grata. And, it's all tied together, and there's fear porn behind it going on in the alternative media, as well as the mainstream media. They tried to push this, Bitcoin is crashing, it didn't crash. It went down. It goes up and down all the time. When they think that they're going to do something or make a big move, there it goes down, and then there it goes up. And, it's all an NSA siphon, really. It's a DARPA, NSA, Order of the Black Sun, whoever's running this Bitcoin thing. You can't really spend it, can't buy groceries with it, you can't do anything really with it other than allegedly invest in NSA poker chips, as I call it. So, up and down a little bit. Then there's other mainstream reports about the market crashing. The market didn't crash. It went down a few hundred points. It does that all the time. The Fed chairman sneezes and the market goes down a couple hundred points. It's not that big of a deal. Tons of fear about, financial concerns, especially around the holidays. There was a lot of fear going on around, flights being canceled and everything a few weeks ago, and, shutting down the FAA for a while, and government shutdowns, and, and they're trying everything really to rile people up, I guess you would say, and keep you in fear mode. Talks about releasing of more Epstein files, blah, blah, blah. It's like rinse and repeat right now with these operatives, keeping people or trying to keep people in some kind of a fear mode and not enjoying your holidays. Don't let them do that to you. Really, honestly, it's a lot of talk. I had people fly in and out that were, during the alleged shutdown, and they made it everywhere they were going. No flight delays, no nothing. Not to say that others didn't experience canceled flights, but for the most part, it was fairly manageable. And people have other ways of traveling anyway. They'll always get to where they want to go one way or another, planes or no planes. So, remember, a lot of this is so that you'll give your power away and your energy and your focus on these types of things. And the more you focus your power and your energy on you, your family, your loved ones, your community, growing food, doing all the things that we need to do to survive, the less control they have over you. It's like we have a narcissistic nanny state in every country in the world. And, that narcissist, only has power over you if you give it to that narcissist. So much so there are a lot of banks and other people that are economists, and they're having a lot of meetings. There were a lot of meetings over the weekend. I listened to some of them off and on, and a lot of it had to do with banks not having any kind of faith in these operatives anymore, that they're actually going to come through for them with this money that they keep promising on every day ending in Y. You know, there's a lot of turncoats there right now looking for other options. Putting us on the table as an option really angered the global military order, also known as the Order of the Black Sun, and they would like to keep them on the hook. They keep telling them to just wait until after the full moon, which is going to be tomorrow, my time. And they always wait, 3 days after the full moon, which brings us, to the weekend. And that's when they're going to say, okay, you can go ahead and do what you want to do. Well, I can say that they're probably going to push them off to, another day ending in Y as well, because nothing will happen at that time. It is solstice time right now. Solstice time begins on November 21st, 20th, 21st, depending on when the actual day of the solstice starts in December this year. So every year it's a day or so off, but they ramp up their activities pretty heavily, around this time every year. They ramped it up very heavily around the summer solstice this year, and for the last couple of weeks, the reports from me have been kind of sporadic, mainly because, it's a lot of damage control and making sure they can't do the things they want to do, such as infect us with viruses. And that's real big coming out of China. China likes that. Their deep state there. It's a global deep state, but China really has been pushing for some kind of new flu, new virus, infecting people with their nano and femto tech that they would like to disperse throughout the world. So that was a big dilemma that we had to work on. And, there has been other technology I'll talk about in a few minutes that has been affecting people greatly. So this time, actually on Friday of this week, is December 5th, and that is the Black Sun's birthday. Apparently they're expecting some kind of present from maybe Satan or Lucifer or whoever their god is, because they've really been on it. I've always said that security equals control, and the Black Sun has had the security contract for Earth. It's not just the Order of the Black Sun, but those are the humans that we know. Mainly, it's a larger contract, or was a larger contract, whereby they were given a certain amount of what I refer to as security dominion over not only Earth, but also the entire solar system, the galaxy, and even as far as the omniverse. There is management everywhere, or was, and here on Earth, these are the ones that are fighting us the most at this time, with their alleged security dominion that they've had for a long time. So if security equals control, that control center for the entire omniverse would actually be centered in Durango, Colorado. Durango, Colorado actually had the largest gateway to this entire side of the omniverse for a very, very long time. Now that gateway has been malfunctioning since 2015, and the gatekeepers who live here and the gate controllers always enjoyed, prior to that, at least 2% of all of the money that would come as a result of loose trading and anything else going in and out of the gateway here. That's part of the reason why the in-crowd here, let's just say the in-crowd or the higher level operatives, would enjoy annual payments around this time. Therefore, they have been pushing and trying to open this gate here since about 2015, which was the last time they were successful. Now, part of the whole reason why they brought me to this giant hole here is because they felt that I could help them in some way open that gate. Now, they brought me here in 2016, which is about as fast as they could get me here, I guess. Had to kind of have work on that for a while to make it a viable option for me, or at least I thought. I didn't know a lot at the time, so I don't know, always learning. So here I am in Durango, Colorado, and constantly since I have arrived here, they have been trying to use me to open this portal several times a year. Solstice time is their favorite, so I go through a lot, usually around solstice time. And it does help us find additional AI systems and other gatekeeper systems and anything else that they could use to attempt to open a portal. The one here, in some ways, not always, but in some ways, was not only connected to the entire Omniverse, but here on Earth it was connected to places like Israel, Joshua Tree, other Dulce is an obvious one. So varying systems connect to varying things, including Cheyenne Mountain, Washington, D.C., and the entire global internet and computer systems. So failure to open this gate, they felt they almost did it once or twice over the last 10 years, or 9 years, I should say, since I've been here. 9 is, funny enough, a completion number, and I do intend to complete my stay here in Durango as soon as possible, based on the fact that, they're probably never going to give up trying to open this pit of the entire Omniverse, and I'm not going to be their battery anymore. So keep an eye out. If anybody invites you to come live in Durango, Colorado, then that means you would make a good battery for them, and I wouldn't do it under any circumstances, no matter how good the offer sounds. Great place to visit, but also a great place to leave. But I did learn a lot by being here, and, handler after handler and after handler, and, I learned how everybody works and what they say and, what to look out for and what it feels like to be in the armpit of the entire Omniverse. So I think I'm all set now, all stocked up, so trying to get out of here as soon as possible. We're now starting to get snow, so hopefully I can manage to do that as soon as I can. So that's my plan. But this past week has been exceptionally difficult here in Durango. Unfortunately, I had some people visiting this week, and they couldn't wait to get out of here because the energy was so bad. And I can't blame them, I feel bad for some other people that live here, too. I know that Mike, our producer, lives here as well in Durango, and, poor guy. But, he takes it like a champion and, is quite strong himself. But, hopefully no one will have to deal with this for much longer. But once I walk out the door, hopefully it'll be the cleanest place in the universe. That's my hope, because we never want to see this gateway ever, 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 ever open again. I know this is how that everybody around here got paid, but that's a you issue. We've offered you other ways to do other things, and you still think that this is a great idea. So, you do you, and I'll do me. All right. Other things that are ending, speaking of not only Durango, but the entire planet Earth, galaxy, and Omniverse, the Security Dominion will end this week as well, or what's left of it anyway. Security Dominion is an interesting thing, and how it works is important to understand as far as the way that you may be feeling. Security Dominion is not only for gateways and financial systems and military and intelligence and all the things we know as security. or control. Also, not just ID 2020, ability to release viruses, chemtrails, which are off the charts right now. That's because they were getting these chemtrails from China. China would love to have us be infected with their technology. And, without control over the nano and femtotech and the AIs they're associated there too, and the gifts that Marduk bestowed upon China, then that is kind of null and void at this point. They have tried to fire up other systems in Bora Bora and other places in the world that they thought might be able to help them with infecting us all, but, everything that has a beginning also has an end these days, and their end is coming very rapidly, despite, all their best efforts. So security dominion is very interesting, speaking of nano and femtotech. So this particular technology that existed and is waning rapidly worked in a different way. If you took an actual source particle, this thing and this system had these database overlays on virtually every part of that particle except for the point of creation within it. That point of creation has always belonged to source. Source, even at one point in time, created enormous amounts of firewalls and changed languages in less than a zeptosecond. So as to, let's just say, screw this machine up. And in order to protect creation itself. They've often tried and spent a lot of time this week trying to revive level 9 facilities on planet Earth. By level 9, we mean the lowest level of the dark side of the omniverse they could possibly reach. There was a slight breach of that lowest level of the omniverse, which occurred yesterday. They did manage to get to that level. I hope they enjoyed themselves there in Maryland, USA. But once they got there, it wasn't what they expected. Now, they expected to get full access to this security dominion system. See, because this is something they were never afforded. They had certain levels up to usually level 5, maybe level 6, that kind of thing, never beyond that level. But this time they went deep, deep, deep into the further armpit yesterday, and they were a little shocked at what they saw. They didn't understand this computer language. They didn't understand what it actually was. There really isn't a whole lot to speak of there. It's absolutely devoid of all life, artificial and otherwise. There is a language there. It is programmable. It is an AI. Essentially, they went into the pit. But basically what they saw was absolutely nothing. That nothing that they saw while they were there didn't really give them a whole lot of hope. They spent a few moments there, maybe an hour or two before they were kicked out. They've been trying to get back there ever since because they don't really understand what it is. Well, I'm certainly not going to tell them on this report. Let's just say they ended up where there is absolutely no thing, and if you don't know how to deal with absolutely all that is not, then, well, good luck to you in figuring it out, and good luck to you when you get back there. And let's see how long you can exist there. Because it's a difficult place to be, and if you don't know what you're doing, you won't live long. Artificial or otherwise. I've been there many, many times. I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it feels like, and I know exactly how to deal with it because I go to the exact opposite almost on the daily. Will they make it to that point of the exact opposite? Absolutely not. That is the point of all creation. So good luck to you, deep state people. Getting to that level will not give them the access that they're looking for unless you are the right person. And I hope the deep state spends a lot of time trying to find that right person, because it's not a person. It's not a human. It's not a Homo sapien. Good luck. And good luck in trying to figure out how to program absolutely nothing. So, as for the rest of Security Dominion and the database overlays, kind of in layman terms, I'm going to explain it to you a little bit, how it worked. So, do you remember the days of like LimeWire and Napster and all that kind of thing? These were what you call a torrent file. By torrent, what it does is it takes that song that you're downloading for free, back in those days, and it divides it amongst all of its users. So when you call upon that particular song, it reassembles all those files from all those different users and computers around the world, and it makes that song file work. Dominion programs and softwares and empires and whatnot work in such the same way, whereby every source particle has an overlay, or had an overlay. And that overlay actually is a database. It can actually send and receive information and can control that particular particle. Therefore, it has the ability to take viable creation and creative and replicating cells and life perpetuating source particles and utilize it for its own benefit. It only assembles those files amongst billions and beyond billions and trillions and decatillions of source particles that exist in your person alone, and rewires them to do something bad. It also can control what you can and cannot do, how long you live, all of those types of things. Not only that, it also infects computers and computer systems, which have been kind of wonky this last week too. And all of that is due to the dominion over those particles, in part. They do believe that they are able to control creation, which is not true. It's artificial creation they have always enjoyed the control over. Therefore, you're still not getting that point of creation of source. None of this was created by the humans that walk this planet, although they have had some kind of limited access to this. This is where a lot of the black magic comes from. It also is involved in looshing. Opening the gate in Durango as an example, in order for the loosh to go out and the money to come back in to 3 or 4 different groups of folks, which normally would happen every year. That hasn't happened in a while. So as these systems diminish, then too comes the deep state's control over all things, not just you as a person, but also disease and access. And no matter how much they spray crap Chinese chemicals on us, not only here in the U.S., but all around the world, they've been bad everywhere. Without access to control that technology that they're spraying on us, well, it's just kind of a whole lot of spraying and no results. So that's kind of in a nutshell how security dominion works. Now, there have been other types of dominion. The dark side, let's just say, the dark side and dark beings and fallen ones and all of those folks we have come to know over the last couple of years have utilized dominion. There have been many, many of these database overlays on a very, very small level. This is much smaller than a quark, a prion. It is extremely small and definitely not something that even probably the deep state fully understands on what they're trying to access. But it also gives them less dominion over things like, trickling down the pipeline, ID programs and crypto programs and programs that affect your financial, your account, your money status and all those types of things. So as these things disappear, we have been involved in a current war. Current wars are the flow of creation and the creation of materium in this, on Earth here, as it relates to you, but also throughout the entire omniverse. So one of the things they did on Friday is they actually tried to utilize me to power let's call it a world within a world here on Earth. And they felt that if they had that current, then, I would be a good little battery for their things. Because you see, we power ourselves too. A source obviously does that from within you. And the brighter you shine, the more they would like to own that. That didn't work out for them. That was on Friday. So they thought it would be a good idea to cut off all of the source current coming to the planet utilizing this security dominion software until they could figure out a way to divert it into their hands or their control or a place where they could put it whereby it could be transmuted coming from Buenos Aires, whereby it could be transmuted into a form of energy that would power their systems and their systems only. You see, they would like us to have zero source current and all of it to flow to only power their things. Now, this might sound familiar to you because the deep state would also like you to only work for them. They would like for you to, quote unquote, own nothing and like it. They would like for you to just be a good little battery and work within the system and be a good little citizen of insert your country name here and live your little existence and don't step out of the box, so to speak. And that doesn't work well for most of you listening to this report, and I know it doesn't work well for me. I've never been one to want to live in a box, and as much as they would like for me to be a good little battery, I also have learned some pretty good skills on blocking that. And some of those things I mentioned in the statement I had put out the other day that you should try. Remember, source comes from within. Source can be your ultimate protector too. So if you take what is on the inside and you push it out on the outside of you, you can now protect yourself from this same thing. This is a little technique that I've learned. When push comes to shove and you can't shield yourself from the outside, shield it from the inside, push it all the way outside yourself and create that shield from within. And it works wonderful. It'll also block any of this type of dominion particle overlays and that kind of thing too by doing it this way. And you can almost focus on every single particle that is you and do the same for every single particle and it won't affect you anymore. So it should be done hopefully by the end of this week and these dominions fade, They'll push it. They're going to push it to the limit. I mean, after all, it's their birthday coming up on Friday. Maybe they're going to have a birthday party. Oh, it's their birthday and the day before or the night before is a full moon. So, oh my God, what a perfect day for them, right? They're always looking for some kind of moon and some kind of an agreement to be renewed. And this is that time. They would like to renew this security dominion contract, and that's never going to happen. You see, because there's nobody to renew it with on their side. See, by security, it has nothing to do with your protection. So just to be fair, they do not protect us from bad alien invasions or anything else. What they do is they actually protect the interests of the elite on this planet, who are management only. And the royals from the other side of the omniverse, their interests here, their cattle, their loosh, their control over planet Earth, their dominions, their empires, that's what they're here to protect. So all of those military people that you think are going to save this country or your country or insert country name here, that's absolutely not happening in any way, shape, or form. Other rumors I've heard in alternative medias that the alliance is here. They're working with the good military. There's no such thing as good military. It's rank and file. They all follow the same orders and instructions. Operatives the same. Everybody is on the same program of security dominion. Well, we'll see how they fare by this weekend because I don't think that's going to work out real well for them. Not this time. So, if they're out of a job, where do they go? I don't know. Maybe there's an island somewhere we can send them all to and they can play shuffleboard and talk about what was when they had dominion. Maybe just retire or disappear. That would also work for me. At this point, I don't see anybody changing course. They'll still try to get these systems back. They'll still try to get this gate open in Durango. They'll still try to send viruses from China. And, as long as they don't have access to anything, Project Lincoln Logs is a very real thing. I don't even want to give them Lincoln Logs at this point. They'll probably find some way to MacGyver that together, if you're old enough to remember that show. MacGyver that together and make some kind of something that's going to cause us harm. So, I don't know. Australia at one point in time, they say, they sent the UK, used that island for a while to send all the people that were ill. I think it was leprosy or something at the time. And, and criminals and whatnot were all sent there. And, that's obviously not the case anymore. I have some lovely friends in Australia. But, maybe we can get a different island. Maybe we can put it somewhere else. Maybe in some other galaxy far, far away. Would be great. So when they did cut off this current on Friday, everything takes a few days to kind of die. And their systems really started dying off by Monday. That's when you saw the fluctuations and this coin's going down, markets are going a little bit crazy and that kind of thing. And their systems were fading away rapidly. So they figured they have to let some kind of current in, and then they had to work on diverting that current. This is where phase 2 of current wars came in. And when it didn't work with me, they were actually trying to use what they had left of this security dominion to take it from everything, everywhere on this planet. Meaning they would pull the energy from that to a system that they thought they still had access to, and that system would analyze the creative energy or creator's energy that flows through you. Then it would transmute it and send you back something kind of nasty. I call it anti-creation. Those days where just everything seems to go wrong, and the computer's not working right, the car's broken down, you sound like a bad country song on repeat, and if any of you have had those days in the last few days, you go to turn the oven on to make dinner and the oven doesn't work, or you made the same recipe you've made 1,000 times before and all of a sudden it came out terrible and you didn't change a thing. That's what I call the anti-creation that they send you back. So it's been a little bit, touch and go for the last few days for sure, trying to block or send us anti-creative energy, because that's all their systems ever produce. So they take your creative energy and then they try to create things for themselves, programs and viruses and all kinds of things that the deep state likes. And now they were really, really pushing it earlier today as well, out of Bora Bora. That's where they were at. They were setting up a nominal, at this point, current flow. But, alas, that didn't last very long either. And then the halls of current, like we have the halls of records. The halls of current are no longer, and that should be the end of the current wars, at least between tonight and tomorrow. Sometimes things take a little bit of time to dissipate. So hopefully we should feel a lot better this coming couple of days. Probably by about the time they're expecting birthday gifts from Satan, we'll be feeling a lot better. But in order to navigate this time, because it is a little bit uncomfortable and the transition to source is real, and the overlays or any kind of controls and databases are fading quickly at this point, it's a little topsy-turvy. So just remember, you can shield from the point of creation of beyond, even smaller than a cellular level in your body, and pull that out. You do have the ability to do that same shielding for the protection of innocence as well, meaning people that don't understand what's happening to them. They're angry, they're uncomfortable, they're feeling ill, it's just crazy, the ebb and flow of this transition and the fight to control you, meaning Source would love to have you back in his arms, in the entire omniverse, so to speak, in his arms, and you as well. The other side would like to keep you as their chattel and, keep dominions and all kinds of crazy things so that they can continue to create a dark omniverse. Well, remember, shield yourself, shield your loved ones, even if they don't know you're doing it. It's okay. This is one particular instance where it's okay to protect your life and the life of an innocent. You're not harming anybody. You're not entering into their energy field to do quote unquote energy work when they have not asked you to. You are merely protecting them because you know how and you can. So this should make your life a lot easier with those around you that don't know what's going on. And it should also help you navigate these waters. For those of you that want to get together and maybe help shield the entire planet, that'd be great. I'm sure Source would appreciate it, and I know that I would. But I think it won't be much longer, I hope. I'm hoping for a holiday gift, whatever holiday you're celebrating this month, for everyone. That's what I'm hoping for. So stay strong. Remember how powerful you are. Don't give in to the crazy topsy-turvy media of what they're putting out. Remember, they are in control of what goes out. Listen to yourself, listen to Source, spend time grounding if it's not too cold where you're at. Put your feet on the ground. It's part of the reason why our plant life survives these types of things better than we do, because we are not as connected to Earth as they are. So remember to ground whenever you can. Stay strong. And hopefully I can get another report, let you know how their birthday celebration goes this weekend. And hopefully we'll be having more good news, I hope, in the very near future. So on that note, I'm going to go try to get some rest since I've been up for quite a long time and working for a long time today. Sorry for the kind of short report, but I hope that all of you had a decent week last week, and I hope this week or the rest of this week is a whole lot better. So on that note, this has been the GIA report for the 3rd of December, 2025, and I will talk to you again real soon.